Hello everyone, and welcome back to the world of Viridia. There we go. If you remember from last time, we were working on our another transportation hub. So we dug out this whole area, got our basalt pillars set up with the beams across the top, and yeah, even started putting down some of the flooring. This is built inside a netherrack pillar, right smack dab in the middle of a soul sand valley. So you get the lovely ambient sounds of soul sand valley as you go. And yeah, today we're planning on finishing at least this first level and starting to build our paths with the blackstone here to give us access to where we would like to build the gold farm. We have picked a location for that, so that is very exciting. So yeah, now let's get right back down to it. I think the first thing we need to do, and I need to swap these back out because we don't need the diamond pick for this. In fact, we don't want to waste the diamond pick on this. We need to clear out a little bit more space, believe it or not. This is not enough. There is a road, so technically this will give us room for the bone block columns that we'll be putting in here, but it would be beneficial if we had a little bit more space to work with, and we're going to have roads that go here, this block, and the next block over. So we do need to clear out another 3 blocks deep all the way around the structure. So that is where we're going to start today. We might poke our heads up into the overworld at some point. I'm not really sure. So yeah, we're going to have bone blocks, road, road, and then road border. And that's the space that we need. So we'll take this to the roof. I mean, we do have a stream tradition of trying to, well, not even trying, we just have a tradition of it raining every stream. And if we're down here the entire stream, well, it can't possibly happen. So we may have to poke our heads up into the overworld at some point, but we'll have to see. Kind of as we go. Alright, so this is going to create only a 3 wide space that anything could spawn in. So we shouldn't need to worry about putting anything down here. I guess it'd be 4 wide in some spaces. But again, you need a 5x5 area for any gas to spawn, so I think we're going to be just fine without putting anything down. So yeah, let's go ahead and just start making our way around here. We have done a lot of work since our last stream, gathering materials for this build in particular. Some of the materials are very expensive. When I picked bone blocks for this build, I did not realize just how expensive they would end up becoming. But if you think about it, it sort of makes sense, because you've got the you've got to put in organic materials into a composter. If you don't have a skeleton farm to like turn bones into bone meal, you have to create it with a composter, and you got to put at least, like bare minimum, 7 organic items into the composter to create 1 bone meal. Then you have to get 9 bone meal to make 1 bone block. So every bone block is at minimum, let's see, 49, 56, 63? Yeah, at minimum, every bone block is 63 organic items. So, like, basically an entire stack of something like kelp, for instance, has gone into the creation of every single bone block. And for the size of this particular structure, we actually need almost 4 stacks of bone blocks to make this thing happen. So you can imagine we've been doing quite a bit of bone meal farming since our last stream. I did make a fully automated, temporary, but, you know, fully automated bone meal farm using moss blocks in the overworld. I will talk about the design. If we pop our heads up, I can show that on camera super briefly and credit the person who designed it. It was not me. It is very impressive design, and it does exactly what it's supposed to do. So a special thanks to the creator of that design, who we will talk about when we pop up and go look at it. But it is almost solely responsible for the amount of bone meal that we've managed to acquire so that we have the blocks to do this project. Now, there is going to come a point in time when we'll have a ton of towers in the overworld that are producing organic materials in such an abundance that they're just automatically bone mealing anything that goes above and beyond what we need. And those will be automatically making bone blocks for us, and having multiple sources of them. We probably won't need a dedicated bone meal farm at that point, but we are not there yet. What we are able to create fully automatically is limited at the moment, because we're still building up a surplus of the things that we would normally be bone mealing. Or composting. There we go again. I don't know what it is, but for some reason, I always mix up those two words, bone mealing and composting. They are interrelated, so maybe that's the issue. But yes, if I say it wrong in the future, and I probably will, just understand that if I've been talking about composting, when I say bone mealing, I'm probably still talking about composting. But yeah, so the builds that we're going to do down here are basically going to be kind of a reflection of what is in the overworld, at least as far as how the footprint is laid out. So the roads that we're going to put around this are basically going to be the equivalent of the roads that we would be putting down around the overworld transportation hub that we're making. Was the top one? Yeah. And this is still going, but I do need to make sure I have a bucket of lava here, so when it finishes it keeps going. I did craft some of these into another brick blocks, and we have some more. And we have an empty bucket. Go ahead and put here. Actually, yeah, I forgot to empty my inventory. And I forgot to switch out my helmet, so we're going to do both of those things right now. Boy, I did not prepare to come down here at all. Alright, this here, this here, this here. These are road making things. I was working on that a little bit while I was just waiting for the automatic farm to produce bone meal for us. So we do have a bit more in the way of roads than we had before in the overworld, and so we might get to see some of that during the stream as well. Yeah, alright. Head back over this way. And we have managed to work out some more of the plots where we'll be building buildings in the future. So those are leveled off and good to go, in line with the roads that we've added and all of that. So lots of work left to be done in that regard. But for right now, we're kind of in a good spot. But anyway, the system down here is going to kind of reflect that same kind of infrastructure that we're setting up there. The only difference being that instead of rising from the ground and going upwards, the stuff here in the nether will be descending from the nether ceiling. So the roads up here at the ceiling level are basically going to be the ground level roads, like the equivalent of the ground level roads in the overworld. And so the bottom of these towers is going to be the equivalent of the top of the towers in the overworld, to a certain degree. There is a little bit, like the way the mechanics of everything work, we're probably still going to have our farms up towards the nether roof layer, even though these structures are kind of like upside down. But the farms will be right below this layer that we're working on, where we have all the roads and everything, which is kind of like our ground floor equivalent. That way the items can still sort of like filter downwards using hoppers and get processed and what have you. And then we'll have to pipe them back up to the very top to our nether ground level, which is basically right underneath the roof, so that we have easy access to them by simply walking into the structure from this level. But that's kind of the concept for what we're working on down here. I think it's going to look really cool, and functionally it should also be very cool. Always amazes me how quickly iron picks get wrecked by netherrack. I know I've said it before, but like they just get absolutely chewed through. Kinda crazy. Now I've been kind of debating in my head about the lighting situation for these structures. There's a part of me that wants to go with regular lighting, like lanterns and warmer lights. But there's also part of me that wants to go with a cooler tone light, since we are in a soul sand valley, and do like soul lanterns. I think they would look really cool as part of the structure. It's just a question of, is it going to produce enough light? And do we want to put forth the effort to get all the soul sand we need to make those? Personally, I think it would be worth it. And with that being the case, it's just a question of like, do they produce enough light? It is a little bit less than a regular lantern, but I think it would be enough to cover the few spawnable spaces that we are going to be leaving in the structure. And it would definitely be a strong fit for the aesthetic. Not just in this biome, but for the structure as a whole. Alright, that's one loop finished. And now on to the next one. Now this part out here, where the netherrack and bedrock are kind of exposed. Inside the structure, those are going to be covered with other blocks. But out here, where the road is going to be, I'm not sure how I want to handle those just yet. If I want to do some kind of block to cover it, or if I want to leave it completely exposed, or really what my long-term plan is for that. So, something to think about. We may end up needing another chest, actually, to hold some of this netherrack while we clear it out. Yeah, so the options are basically kind of leave it how it is. Option 1, which I don't know how I feel about. Probably not our best available choice. Or option 2, I can do the nether brick blocks and sort of work them into the bedrock. But that does create a situation where we sort of have to like clear the netherrack from all the bedrock that isn't part of that covering. And I kind of don't want to do that either. Because it is a pain to work through and up into all of the bedrock and like really dig out the pockets of netherrack that generate in the crevices there. So, since it would be such a pain to do that, I'm feeling like the smartest thing to do would be to just leave it exposed. There is a world in which I could also, like, put other blocks there to cover it, to give the passages, like, a different vibe. And I think we may end up going that direction. That's definitely going to be a down the line aesthetics upgrade. Right now we're just trying to get everything to a point where it's like established, but really just functional. And then we'll worry about fancying it up a little bit later. No, once all the infrastructure's in place for all that. And we're actually getting pretty close to having the bare necessities as far as infrastructure in place. Our first order of business was obviously getting the wheat tower done and getting villagers set up, because they kind of unlock a lot of the resources that are available in Minecraft. Even this build is using some of the resources that are available because of villager trading. So unlocking them was kind of a huge thing. And just having access to infinite wheat is also a big thing, especially for our build style, because we're using it to make our road systems in the overworld. And then our next order of business was getting a renewable source of iron, because we knew we would need it for all kinds of stuff, but hoppers in particular, so we could start automating things. And since then, we've been working towards a renewable source of nether quartz, because we're going to need nether quartz renewably and reliably in order to make comparators and observers, which are both kind of huge parts of fully automating a lot of your farms. Alright, time for some new picks. Thankfully, we're not going to be doing a ton of digging today, so that's really kind of a good thing. This is full. This is full. This is now full. This is pretty much full, and this is actually full. I haven't shown this yet, but here's all the blackstone that we gathered off camera. It's a lot. So this should carry us for quite a while until we have a renewable source from the piglin bartering. So yeah, it looks like it's time for another chest. So we're going to go ahead and make that. So we have a place to store the excessive amounts of netherrack we are currently generating. And I do need to hop up here. No, there we go. Now we have a place to store our netherrack. And we can keep digging now that we have extra picks. Some fish. But yeah, so that's kind of what we've been working on, and that's the whole point of this project. After we had the iron farm established, we made the base of the overworld transportation hub, which gave us access to the nether. And now we're working on the base, basically, of the nether transportation hub to give us access to another waste biome, so we can establish a gold farm for ourselves. Which is what we'll be doing probably within the next couple of streams, is really working on that project. Once the gold farm is established and operating, churning out gold for us, we can set up the piglin bartering stations literally right in the same structure, so the gold farm can completely automatically feed gold to the piglins, who will automatically barter and collect all of those items plus all of the gold, sort it, craft it, do all of that stuff automatically, and gives us access to a whole slew of other things that we need access to. Just a few examples. Blackstone comes from piglin bartering. Nether quartz comes from piglin bartering. Water bottles, believe it or not, are a result of piglin bartering. Even renewable string is actually from them. Soul sand comes from them. Gravel comes from them. So, like, there's just a mess of materials that we'll get access to as a result of the completion of that whole project. And then once we have that unlocked, all the nether quartz that we need to make basically as many observers as we want, that's when we move into probably a bamboo farm, So we have fully automatic, completely renewable wood for anything that doesn't have a particular wood style, like chests, which we use in abundance in all of our automation projects, and for anything with the bamboo aesthetic, which we haven't used much of so far, but maybe we'll start, since we'll have easy access to it. Then after that, who knows where we'll take the farms, because we'll be kind of past the point where we specifically need any materials to do. We would have everything automatic for, you know, automation purposes, and then we'd probably start farming all the resources that we need for aesthetics. So we'd probably set up a birch tree farm, a basalt farm, a warped huge fungus farm, all of that kind of stuff. So every resource that we use for our different builds will be completely renewable and as fully automatic as possible, without abusing bugs and item duplication and stuff like that. I'm really on the fence about TNT dupers. I don't know if I want to use them or not. If I do, it's probably going to be sparingly, just because, like, I don't want to abuse the mechanic necessarily. I know technically it was a bug when it was originally introduced into the game, but they have not patched it out, and I have a feeling that they've, at this point, accepted it as, like, an unintended feature, and it's just going to stick around. So, like, that's why I'm kind of on the fence, because there's a chance that maybe someday they will patch it out, but I think the overall consensus is they're probably not going to, because it's been in the game for quite some time at this point. Thought I heard a skeleton, which is entirely possible in this biome. So I do have torches kind of all the way around this, so I don't think anything will be spawning, but it doesn't hurt to stay aware. And then that's another thing that we could be doing. In this particular biome, we can set up a skeleton farm and a ghast farm, and get the resources from them that we need. In the overworld, we have yet to set up any hostile mob farms whatsoever, so we can always set those up as well. I do want a few more resources before I work on something like that, though. My intention would be to set something up where the mobs are actually sorted. Although, if I think about it, that seems a little silly, because then the mob cap just gets taken up by the ones that you're not killing. So maybe I won't do that after all. I guess you could just, like, auto-kill the ones that you're not trying to farm and manually do whatever you are trying to farm. I don't know, something to think about. The thing I've been working on lately is exactly which killing method to use for the zombie piglins in the gold farm. And it's interesting. Soulfire is a choice that a lot of people make for a lot of different mobs, but because zombie piglins are fire immune, it doesn't affect them. Neither do regular campfires, neither does lava. So it kind of eliminates a lot of good choices. There's a great choice. Unfortunately, the resources are prohibitively far down the tech tree. You could do Wither Roses on Soul Sand, and that would kill them, and you can have them planted on a block that is not a full block in height, so you can automatically pick up anything they drop straight through the Soul Sand block. So it's a fantastic option if you have access to all the Wither Roses that you would want, which we do not. We have not found another fortress, and therefore do not have access to Wither Skeletons yet at all, let alone have we fought enough Wither Skeletons to have 3 Wither Skeleton skulls with which to make a Wither, nor have we located a bedrock section that will adequately cage said Wither, or set up any kind of farm to create entities for the blast to kill in order to generate Wither Roses and then harvest said Wither Roses. So lots of things on the list to do there before we can really have access to those. And that's okay. It is a great method if you have access to those resources, but there's other ways to do it. Obviously, we could just go with the good old-fashioned fall damage, and I'm thinking early stage that might be exactly what we do. Kills them instantly, it's cheap and easy to set up, and with the way that we're building our towers, we have plenty of room to do exactly whatever we need to do to make that happen. The only trick, and this is something we're going to run into either way, is how exactly to silo the items upside down. Because in the overworld, it's very easy to put items in as, like at the top, as high as we can go, and let the items filter down to the ground level where we have access to them. That's a simple system to set up. In the Nether, we basically want to have access to the items at the top. And since hoppers don't naturally work that way, we have to get a little more creative with how we set up those systems. We will probably still have a top-down silo, but then we need to connect it to an item elevator and have that elevator only work when the storage at the very top is less than as full as it should be. I thought I saw lava particles leaking through one of the netherrack blocks, and apparently I did not, so no worries. So yeah, I still need to set up a test system in my creative world to figure out exactly how to do that. And try to work the design in such a way that I can fit as many as I need into the towers down here. So hopefully we can figure out all of that. I think we can. In fact, I really suspect that that won't be a problem. But you just never know. Alright, we should be almost done with the digging here. Hopefully we won't have to make any more picks to finish it off. And then I think we'll go ahead and put in the Blackstone Road, both inside the structure and outside. And then we can start in with the pillars, the bone block pillars. Struggling to finish those sentences, let me tell you. Alright. I can see where we started. Just a few columns away, so I think we are good. Thankfully, our mass digging will be finished for the moment. No promises for the night. Might have to do a little bit more, never know. Okay, but that has given us the space that we need. So let's go deposit our netherrack. Well, we'll top this off first, then deposit our netherrack. And let's get some blackstone. And first things first, we need to turn a lot of it into these slabs and go ahead and lay those roads down. So let me get actually the stone cutter. This will give us 2 stacks. We're just gonna take this slow and make stuff as we need it. But yeah, we'll start there. Figure we'll probably go this way first, which means we need to take up this flooring. And we'll use this again later to fill in the spaces around the sides. But yeah, all of this space. And we're going to leave the torch for now until we have a little bit more coverage in either direction for light and half slabs. Alright, so that's good to go. Now, the bone pillars are going to be in this slot, so we're going to skip that. And right here is the lane in which we're going to be putting all of the blackstone slabs. So we're just going to kind of fill all of this up all the way around the structure. Making sure to leave this space and this space for other installations as we go. We'll eventually turn some of this blackstone into the blackstone bricks. And we'll use those to kind of put a border on the road. Alright, I have a feeling we can go ahead and turn a couple stacks of these into... there we go. Into half slabs, because it seems like we're going to need them. I'll actually do the 40, just in case. Alright, there we go. And this will not only be part of the road network that we're setting up, but also will allow us to more easily build the rest of the structure. So we can kind of go from the outside in and see what we're doing. We won't be squeezed right in between netherrack wall and the structure we're trying to build. which, you know, in order to see things, not even practical to build that way anyway. And we might be very close to having enough here. Yeah, I thought it came back around. And it does. It's a question of how many more we need for the inside. So we'll make those. Okay, so this is all good. And yeah, we'll need to remove these. Once again. Okay. I don't know if we need another full stack. So let's go ahead and make half a stack into slabs. That'll give us a full stack of actual slabs, which might be all the more we need for the moment. We are going to extend these roads down the paths that we dug, the tunnels, eventually. Right now we just want to kind of outline the structure. Right. We got these last couple slabs here. Perfect. And that just leaves the road out here. It's mostly occupied by our chest setup, which we will have to move at some point. Alright, so clearly there's a couple like spots where we have torches to remove and like things like this to remove, but we don't have that much left that we need to cover. I'm just going to turn this other stack into slabs. It's well and truly more than we need at the moment. But rest assured, they all will get used at one point or another. That is an absolute certainty. And we did happen to mine quite a few, so... Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3. That's correct. One, two, three, 4. This is also correct. Why are the torches in different spots? So I think when I did this tunnel versus when I did that tunnel, there may have been a miscount. Nope, never mind. I know exactly what happened. Okay, so that tunnel was based off of counting from the portal blocks, the actual portal. And these torches were also based on counting from the portal, not the secondary portal that we're going to put in at some point. So these are one block further back than they would ordinarily be. So this tunnel overall might be like one block shorter than the one over there, which honestly is really kind of fine. Not a big deal at all. Okay. It's just, you see things like not in the right place and makes you freak out a little bit. So now we want to go ahead and make the border blocks and put those all in. Oh, wait. Never mind. These also need to be black stone. Silly me. I forgot to switch these out. Okay, that's better. Now we can make the rest of the border blocks. We'll go ahead and turn this stack into... We'll do half of this into the polished blackstone slabs here. Right? Yeah. And the other half I'm going to need to have be the polished blackstone brick stairs. So we'll start with the slabs, because they are going to border all of this. And we're just going to start on the inside of the structure and go from there. The stairs are for another section and may eventually get replaced as we put new structures down here. Okay, once again, let's take half of these and turn into slabs. Probably more than we'll end up needing, especially for the inside part. There we go. And you can see this just gives us a nice road setup, which is very cool. Then we go to the exterior and continue that pattern. But that's going to be after we put in the bone pillars. So we're going to go ahead and put these away for the moment. Blackstone here. Stairs, slabs, and those kind of slabs. And we're going to grab some of our bone blocks. Okay, that should be what we need for here. We're also going to grab some of our quartz, because we're going to need that as well. I guess we'll do this. Yeah. And throw these down here. Okay. So right outside here, we do bone, bone, bone. And I think perhaps even one more. Yeah, because then the quartz is going to go here with stairs here, just like that. And then there's going to be a bone pillar that's supported by all of these running across the top. So we're going to do that basically 4 times. We do need the axe, actually. So we'll do this. Because each time we're going to skip a section. kind of like we did with the overworld structures. Okay. So skip one, and then here's another. Which I guess we can do it this way. So those are obviously just temporary. We don't want anything spawning while we're working on any of this, because that would not be good. So that's 3 of those. We're going to do 4 in each direction. So this time this one goes away. But this time, just a stair on the one side. So now we'll go do that in the other direction. Skip this one and this one next. So you can kind of see the vision for this come together, and why it is worth the wait to get the blocks to make it happen. I think it looks very cool. Obviously, I'm going to be just a little biased, because I did design it. Now, is this particular block palette strictly necessary from a mechanical viewpoint? And no, it's not. You could make all of this completely functional without any of these blocks, honestly. You could just do straight cobblestone for everything, no fanciness whatsoever, and it would work perfectly fine. And if that's your thing, you just need it to function immediately without any aesthetic anything for it, then, you know, that is totally fine, and absolutely no judgments. Me personally, I like to have just a touch of the aesthetics, and so for me, this was necessary, and I think it is paying off. Alright, so now we'll bring down the other stack of stairs. Hopefully that's enough for our project. Alright, so that's what's going to go here. There we go. And last one, right here. Okay, so that one's set. I'll come down here, do the same thing. And we're basically just going to do this multiple times on each side, so it looks the same from every direction. Right, bring down the next stack of bone blocks. And start work on this side. Nice thing about using 4 per pillar is it's a nice clean end to each stack. Okay, axe finally broke. Because 64 is divisible by 4. I'm running low on torches though, so hopefully I don't have to do that little dance too many more times. Okie-doke. On to the other side. And it's kind of cool with the textures of the quartz. They this is smooth quartz, and this is the chiseled quartz, but the textures literally flow right together. You can kind of see the smooth quartz texture behind the chiseling. Didn't necessarily intend for that, but I'm glad it happened, because it does look good. Oh my goodness. Hold on 1 second. I just realized what was missing. We have not had our ambient music on this entire time. Completely forgot to turn it on at the start of the stream. That's my bad. So the first hour, hopefully I did enough talking that you didn't notice or care. But there is the ambient music for everyone, in case you were missing it this stream. That is my bad, and this is also my bad, because that should not have one of those. Okay, and then I think this is the last side. Already. Yeah, I was literally sitting there like, something seems wrong. Like, what is missing? And then it just sort of like hits you. Oh yeah, there's this thing that I forgot to do. That's alright. Thankfully we weren't too deep into the stream. Thankfully, it looks like I might have actually procured enough quartz for the project, too. Which is going to save us a couple trips to the overworld, for sure. There we have it. Next up. And last but not least, This perfectly finishes out another stack of our bone blocks. Alright, now we need to make our bone pillar, because we're going to need more bone blocks. And we also need a temporary block, ideally one that can't catch fire. So we'll use dirt for that. It's not nether native, but that is okay. We're going to come back to these. These, not so much. Alright, so we need that there. We can get all of them going in that direction. Now we can remove this. So yeah, on the lower levels, this pattern would be, well, will be repeated. And there'll be netherrack roof in the form of stair blocks that goes up like 2 blocks, I think. 2 or 3 blocks. Starting here. So you'd see this, and then the netherrack roof would start. Or, not netherrack. Nether brick roof would start. But for this top level, we kind of have to like work around all the bedrock. And so I'm not sure it's like completely worth doing that. We might change the aesthetic so it just sort of is half slabs across the top of this. We don't really see any of it. But yeah, still toying with the ideas as far as that goes. Because like, if I can see less netherrack, that would be great. That would be very, very great. Especially up at this level where these roads are. Because like the natural view is literally just netherrack everywhere. In most of it. Which, you know, not the kind of view you grind for. At least not typically. So if we can make something a little bit more visually pleasing, I would not mind that at all. What that is going to be exactly, I'm not positive. Alright, and last but not least, I was doing a little bit of research since the last stream, and I realized that as long as you import just a couple pieces of dirt from the overworld, using the infinite gravel that you can get in the nether, you can make coarse dirt, which you can then turn back into regular dirt. So you can farm dirt down here, and since you can farm dirt down here, you can actually turn that all into moss blocks. So you can also farm moss down here, which is pretty cool. Now, we need to get some of those blackstone brick stairs. Need to get some shroom lights, and we need to grab our quartz stairs as well. And we can kind of finish up these corners here. So grab these. I'll need these. And we can go ahead and put these away. And yeah, I'll need some of these also. we want this here and here. And for the bottom, get rid of this. We're going to go like that. And for the top, a little bit fancier. And that's mostly so we don't see the ends of the bone blocks. Okay, so yeah, very cool style there. And we're just going to do that on every corner. Go here, this will go here. And so hopefully we have enough of the quartz stairs. Otherwise we will have to go get some more from the overworld. See, you can kind of see the end of the block if you place that wrong. That's why we go ahead and turn that one. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and there's one more corner to do. We have 9 left, so really like just enough. Which is kind of funny. I didn't really count those out, so for it to be that close, that's very cool. All right, all the corners are done. Now we can put away our shroom lights for the moment. So those would go in here. And we can put these away, because we're done with those. And we can put these away, because we're done with those. We do need to grab our twisting vines and go put those down. And I think we can start in on the warped slabs and kind of like flesh out the rest of this. But right here in each corner, I could let it grow, but I have plenty of these, so I'm just going to go ahead and fill it in. The funny thing is, this actually not only acts as decor, but it's kind of like a twisting vine farm. If I need it to be. Completely manual and not very efficient at all. We let them grow for a while, we can get at most like 12 and have it still grow back up. But yeah, that just gives us a little bit of the nether foliage attached to this structure here. Alright, so let's put the rest of these away. Those will go there. We need these slabs. And these, and we actually do need to make some more of the stair blocks. So let's do that. Alright, we're going to start with the outside. Probably going to need a lot more of these. At least another stack. So let's go ahead and do that. And I'll show you something cool you can do with these blocks, or really any stair block, and another type of block in just a little bit. It gives you a few more options when you're making your builds than what the game would naturally present to you. Right, let me get another stack of those. We are going through the Blackstone a bit faster than I had imagined we would. Nevertheless, I think we're doing pretty good here. This would actually face this way, and this one this way. There we go. Almost forgot that the path kind of continues off from there. Okay, so that finishes that out, and now we switch over to the actual polished slabs here. And I think go ahead and swap these. I can still put down torches for the time being. Alright, you can kind of start to see the whole thing take shape now. Like, it's starting to make a little bit more sense. Starting to actually kind of look good. This is one of my favorite parts of doing builds, is like really just watching the final product come together. Looks like we're gonna need some more of these slabs. Let's go get those. We do not have a stack of regular blackstone on us. There we have it. But yeah, like you can just look down, you've got these columns on the right, got this road that kind of goes all the way around. Like it's starting to look really cool. At least I think so. And we're not done yet. And I think this is the last side. Or else do I need to do this on? Oops, that is the wrong slot. There we have it. Alright, and that has that taken care of. And now we can cruise through and fill in these holes because, like, this section is completely spawn-proofed. And, like, that will produce enough light to take care of this. So everywhere we have these torches, just kind of chilling. You can fill those in. I think it's literally just the centers of the road here. And that's great because it gives us back some of our torches, which we have heavily utilized. And yeah, this exterior road is basically done. So now we're going to head to our workbench. We're going to make some iron bars. Start with a stack, and we'll make more if we need to. But this is the thing I was talking about. You can use stairs in combination with glass panes or iron bars to make a fence that you can't jump over. And that may be more aesthetically pleasing than the fences and walls that are normally available in Minecraft. So if none of the fences and walls that you have access to fit your aesthetic, maybe try stairs and iron bars, or stairs and glass panes. They do have this same effect, where the lip of the stair is right here, and it like almost perfectly matches where the iron bars land on the block model. And yeah, you literally cannot, it's a 1.5 tall thing when you combine the half block, that is the top part of the stair, plus the iron bars or glass panes. It can be a cool thing for builds like this in the Nether, where iron bars make a lot of sense. Guard towers, things like that, or if you're using glass panes, maybe like a museum or some sort of art installation, shopping mall. Colored glass can make for very interesting railings, and it can still be completely safe, which is kind of cool. Unless you have like jump boost on a beacon, then not even regular ones are safe, so I guess that's sort of a no-go there. Just be careful with that jump boost, guys, because it's tricky. A lot of unintended consequences with that one. Alright, we're going to need at least another half stack for sure. I think we'll go ahead and refill our stack here. And so this is the pattern we'll use when we expand the roads into the different parts of the Nether too. So like when we put the roads down our tunnels, we'll use stairs on both sides with the blackstone slabs in the middle and iron bars on top of the stairs to just make the whole thing feel cohesive. And every time we add a build that connects to the road right along here, probably another half, we can take down the iron bars and the stairs and put in the slabs instead. so that we can access it. You know, obviously these look a little bit better when you don't have blocks that they're connecting to. So if this was just empty space instead of, you know, netherrack, these would just, yeah, they'd be the straight style like this instead of the connected style like this. So it might look a little bit better for things where you don't have a block for them to connect to. But it still looks really cool. So like if I look here, you can't tell that they're connected to the blocks. And it just like lends a little bit of illusion of structure to the whole thing anyway. Okay, so now that bit is done. We can throw these extra bars into the chest here. And now it really is time. Nope, 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 sorry. To put down more of this warped wood. And we're going to leave all the torches along these spaces here for the time being. Which I'm kind of hoping I don't need to, well, we might need to fill in all of them. Hard to know for sure. Don't know that I have the torches to fill in all of them, but we'll try. Gather up some more as we put down more of the stuff. Nope. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 that I didn't get to. This appears to be pretty much done, except for those things, which we'll get to in a minute. So we'll go over here. Like torches as we go. And we can even fill in as we go. Yeah, we're definitely going to need to make more of this. In fact, let's put this back here. And we can put this back for the time being. Okay. Time to make more of that, for sure. We need to come here. I'm going to grab this. I'm going to grab this. I think that's it for now. Go here and turn all of this into planks. And turn this into slabs. Move all of these up here. Bring the slabs down. Okay, so now we've got ourselves a couple extra torches. One here, know that. And one in the corner. We just need one more. That looks like we're going to get it from this section, that's okay. Let's finish slapping it anyway. We're going to get all of those torches back. It's just when we put in the blocks that need to go there. Do a little stretching. Next up, we have this side. go until we run out of these. Okay, now we can put this right here. I didn't order this. That's strange. Okay. Let's see about fixing that. I don't know how I missed that. One, two, three, and four. Yeah, no clue how I managed to miss that. So let's put in the black stone, go here. Literally just need those two. Alright, that's better. No idea how that happened. Let's get our slabs back. And we'll keep going here. Let's run to the workbench and make some more slabs. Go here, this here, this here. I guess I can go there. Yep, starting to get our torches built back up, so that's good. Shouldn't really need a ton now that this is all set up, but never know when they're going to come in handy. Probably going to end up having a surplus once we're done. How many more do we need is the question. Let's start with 42. Probably is more than that we're going to end up needing, but this will get us a little bit closer to a more easily determined answer. Maybe another 30 or so. Try that. Okay, so 4, 8, 12, 13, 14, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22, 23, 24, 25, 27, 28. Can't quite hit 28 exactly, so 30 it is. There we have it. So now we need to make ourselves some stairs with the same material. unfortunately, there's no wood cutter like there is a stone cutter, so no improved efficiency for the crafting of these kinds of blocks. Sadly. That's okay, though. So technically, these blocks that I'm putting in right now are the only, well, plus I think the lamps and this. So all of those things are not like gas proof. But everything else is, everything important that you stand on is 100% gas proof. And these things that could get destroyed are actually pretty easily replaceable. So I'm not super worried about that. There's more aesthetic touches that are going to go on the exterior here, which you'll see in short order. Those are also not gas proof, but again, easily replaceable. So I'm not too concerned about it. All right, that was actually the perfect amount. Completely unintended. But yeah, worked perfectly. Now let's grab these again. And in fact, we're going to make some more. Start there and see if that's enough to finish our purposes here. Hopefully it is. So these are basically acting as windows for us. And once again, they are, in fact, gas proof. Fireball can hit these directly and not destroy them. So they just like give nether structures a certain look. That's really cool. I might have like just enough of these. Okay, what I made was just enough to cover all the windows, and we still have the 4 extra that we had to begin with. So, actually, not a bad shot at all. And now... what should come next? I'm thinking maybe we finish out our road here. At least the parts that aren't blocked by chests. Okay, and that appears to be good. Like I said, we probably will go ahead and... oh, I've been completely ignoring this. That's my fault. There we go. Grab our buckets here. Put them there. We'll actually put a backup bucket in as well. Managed to make a few bricks. go ahead and craft those down. The nether brick blocks are a little bit easier to do. They only take 4 instead of like 9. So there's 4 stacks of those. Alright, now we need some more of these. So let's grab another stack of the stem. And kind of fill this back up. That might be more than we need. That's okay though. Okay, doing pretty good as far as time goes. Getting a lot done in short order. So the nether bricks are technically for when we start the lower levels. Because they'll be placed right under the Blackstone Road, just outside the structure. But it's good that we're going ahead and gathering them up now. Make that a little bit easier later. And these torches will eventually get replaced with lanterns, I'm thinking. Okay, that has that finished. And I think we just need some more of the stairs. So let's fill this stack back up. And let's go through and put these in. Alright, perfect. We got 8 stair blocks left. Now the question is, how do we go about putting the roof on the inside of this? It's going to be these, the warped planks. But we want to spawn proof up here also. Which I would say we could do the warped stairs in this crook here, but we're never going to see them. So it seems kind of silly to do it that way. Because then the warped slabs are going to go right along here. But yeah, you would never see the stair blocks, but we don't want anything to spawn up here. Question is, could anything spawn up there? In this biome, it shouldn't be able to, because we have gas, we have skeletons. I think there's a chance for Endermen. And all of them need more than one block of vertical space to be able to spawn. So if I took slabs and just did them here, like this height, we should be good. That's basically how it's going to look on every other level. The roof's going to be right here, the ceiling. Then you have these and these sort of blending into each other. And technically this area would be accessible by the player as like a crouch zone. So if we wanted to leave this section open and continue the vines or whatever up to in here, we could do that. I think that's what we'll do. And then we could do like some kind of storage up here. Yeah, I kind of like that. So yeah, let's actually do that. Give me these. Sorry. Turn these into slabs. Gonna need probably even more than that. And let's go ahead and make our ceiling here. And we're literally just gonna go circles all the way around. And kind of like loop in towards the center. We should swap these though. Just in case I need to do that. Get too overzealous on the mouse clicking and end up with a misplaced block. Or half slab in this case. Other nice thing is as we move towards the center, we'll use less material each time. Thought that was a ghast tentacle hanging down. I'm gonna have to get used to those. Alright, time to make some more. Yeah, I don't know what it is about this particular wood, but like for this build, it just looks so good. I couldn't resist using just an absolute ton of it. It does take some time to farm, as you saw in one of our previous streams. But yeah, like, it's just like super worth it. That's what the axe is for. Alright, gonna need a little bit more stem than that. We're actually moving through the stem pretty fast, which I don't love. It'd be great if we had like extra left over. We still have some things to make out of this besides the roof. Hopefully we can preserve some of it. It's also kind of a pain in the butt to farm. I know some people do use the TNT duping to do tree farms. I don't know how I feel about it. I mean, I probably will set them up eventually. But yeah, initially I think we'll probably go with kind of like manual. Not strictly speaking manual, but like the harvesting itself will be manual, and then we'll feed everything automatically into the processing systems and storage systems. So we just have like chests and chests of the material. Even as I say it, I'm like, it probably would be better if we use TNT dupers to harvest. So we will probably do that at some point. At the same time, like, TNT dupers just get you the wood. They don't get you the leaves. In fact, they kind of cost you a lot of the leaves because of the way you do the bone meal and everything. Oh. I don't know, trees are an interesting... The approach to farming trees is always interesting. Because it really is kind of painful to manually harvest them, but if you want every resource you can get from them, it's almost like the only way to do it. Because, like, you want the leaves too. Sometimes. So it really just depends on what you're trying to get from the trees when you go to harvest them. What approach makes the most sense. Honestly, I'll probably set those up to be the manual harvesting, like we said. Even if it's a little bit painful, it just sort of makes the most sense. Next. Grab another stack of our warp stem. We're starting to get close here. Close in towards the center. a friendly guest roaming about the neighborhood. By friendly, I mean not at all friendly. Would absolutely shoot at us, given the opportunity. Which is why I'm glad we're safely here, up next to the nether roof. Oh no. Got it. Wasn't sure I would be able to reach that, but thankfully we did. Thank you. Oh no, come on. Alright. Slowly moving across. Okay. Time for some more. Conveniently right next to everything. That's going to happen more and more frequently here. That's almost certain. Okay. So here's an interesting problem. This is too low. I can't put this here. I wish I had figured that out before I did all that. We're gonna have to put it actually up here. Which unfortunately means we have to take all of this down and move it up. Well, that sucks. That can stay because that's what I just placed. Demonstrate where this needs to be. I should have started from the portal anyway. That's my bad. That's frustrating. On the plus side, we'll have enough slabs to finish the project once we get them all back down. But yeah, on the negative side, we have to redo all of this. So, not great. And the funny thing is, like, I had planned to come to the corner and go to the portal, like, straight away, to make sure the spacing was right, and I didn't do it. Like, I went against my better judgment. Should have done that. So yeah, there you go. That's... Learn from my mistakes, everyone. Don't... Make sure that the height you're building at fits every part of your build, not just one part of your build, before you, like, commit to it. I think that's the lesson here. Now, the funny thing is, I think what we said initially was true. Even, like, I could put stair blocks in that gap where we were thinking about doing it before. But I think even if we did, you still won't ever see them. So still kind of not really any point to do that. Where was I? Right here. And the way that these are kind of getting caught on the upper edge, once we get to the bone blocks, we might have to walk that. Dang it. To make sure that we get all these slabs back. We'll throw down some temporary blocks and do that if we need to. Oh, that was dumb. But these kind of things happen. It's not so much about being the kind of person that completely prevents these things from ever happening. It's about how you recover from them. And you know, what can you do? Tear it down and rebuild it the correct way. That's really all there is to do. And yeah, this is painful. On the edges that are like where the portal's wide, we're actually close to the edge here. But on the other edges, we seem super far away yet, so not great. Oh, smart, I'd probably divide this fix into like a couple different sections instead of trying to tackle the whole thing all at once. But I started it all at once, and if I don't want any of these to despawn, I kind of have to keep going with that system. So that the ones that are sitting up there will get dropped before 5 minutes is up. And we can get everything back. And just sort of feels like it's going to take forever. Which hopefully is not the case. Thankfully it's not like glass blocks where we would not be able to place them again without soak touch. I guess we have now, so even that's not like a horrible error. But if you don't have soak touch, that is kind of a horrible error, so... At least it's not something like that. can pick these back up and put them back down without any actual loss of material. And so that at least is good. Plus we're going to have a little bit more headroom, which I think I'm going to like better. So I'm kind of glad that it went this way. Yeah, we're like right up against the wall for this side and the opposite side. But like, really not even close to it for the other two sides. Which is kind of funny. I guess we're getting closer to it, but we're not like that close to it, you know? Interestingly, closer on the opposite side than on this side. So I must have done this a little bit unevenly to begin with. Oh well, that's alright. It'll all even out in the end. Thankfully I have plenty of iron to burn to make new axes. Can you imagine having to do all of this with your fist? That would be so brutal. Okay. Because of where these are placed, it looks like none of them are popping up onto the blocks above. It does sound like my inventory might be full, though. I am definitely not picking up these blocks anymore. So we need to go drop some of this off. That's better. I'm hoping we can tear this down and put it back up where it's supposed to be relatively quickly. Because we do have some other things that we want to do to the structure before we call it a night. I think we're going to have time for it. But I just hope we do. Now, the nice thing is, once we get to the end of this, we'll be at the wall that we already like hit, so we can completely skip that and jump around to the now U shape. So that should speed up each successive round. Just a touch. Now I can just run over here. And we're out of axes again. Like I said, thankfully we have the iron to throw axes at this continuously. Does help. One of the reasons I decided to do warped wood for this structure, besides, you know, the visual appeal, is that the nether woods are non-flammable. So if a ghast fireball did like temporarily light stuff on fire, or if we got like an accidental lava flow or an intentional lava flow or literally anything of that nature, we would not need to worry about any of this wood catching fire. Seems advantageous for the nether. Because fire is kind of like the rule down here rather than the exception. So yeah, if you didn't know that, there you go. Little knowledge nugget there for you. And hopefully you can use that to help you with some of the builds that you do. That kind of thing is particularly useful for things like strider pens, where you might want to keep them in lava because they get cold otherwise. But you don't want your gates to constantly burn down. Which they can if they're made of normal wood from the overworld. And of course there's no metal or stone gates, but you can make warped or crimson gates, and those will not burn. Now they're not as durable as something like a stone wall would be. But sometimes being non-flammable is enough by itself. And I think I am going to go Soul Lantern. I don't know, it just seems like the right choice for the biome. And like the color palette of the structure. Like I said, they don't produce as much light, but I think for the places that need light, they're going to be close enough to produce more than enough for our needs. Man, you know you've been kind of doing the same repetitive sort of mining task when you stop and your vision like still feels like you're moving forward with the mining. It'll happen to me sometimes when I'm doing like really long tunnels or something, especially when you have the more durable picks with like unbreaking and what have you, so you can just like go and go and go for like a really long time. Okay, now the idea of a crouch space is sort of a no-go because there's definitely not going to be room for that. So we don't need to worry about that so very much. Oops. And that went to the overworld. Okay, well, it'll be safe there, I guess, until we need it. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, these are 8 wide, and right now these are only 2 wide, so this makes it 4 wide. We need to go out this far to make it a square. And we can kind of start working from there. Come on. This moving the roof thing does help a little bit too, because now we don't have to move as many chests to finish this project, which is good. Alright, so now figure we can just go around in a circle here. Oh, it's going to happen a lot more this way, isn't it? Need to move back a little bit. So I may go ahead and put these on top of the basalt, because that's going to slide in right on top of those. We don't need the stairs, obviously, because we're not going to see them. And technically we don't need to spawn proof that, but I guess it doesn't really hurt, just for future proofing, to go ahead and do it. This game be changing all the time, so yeah, future proofing is my excuse to go ahead and place slabs up on the basalt. Even though we're never going to see them. So, while soul lanterns would be aesthetically pleasing, like, by far, especially for the biome, some of my other lighting is, like, warm lighting. And I think mixing the lighting types would kind of have the wrong effect visually. In addition, like, we do want to be friendly with the piglin natives down here. And they do not like soulfire. So I would, even though I don't intend to bring piglins to this structure, I would like the structure to be someplace that they were okay to come if they so desired to do so. That was a confusing sentence, sorry. I'd like it to be a place that they would willingly come. If for no other reason than just like narrative reasons for the world. So yeah, I think we'll actually go with the regular lanterns. The question is, do I make them? Because we do have iron, we do have torches, or do we like go visit our librarian villager and buy a bunch of them? My instinct is to make these ones, since we don't need to buy them, technically. But that is just sort of my instinct. Keep misplacing those. I mean, we've had an entire episode where we haven't had to go to the overworld at all, because we already brought everything down here and we're ready to go. If, in fact, we didn't harvest it down here, which most of it we did. So, yeah, I mean, maybe we start a new stream tradition where we stay in one dimension for the whole stream? Who knows? Alright, so this is getting pretty close. I'm gonna just double check. Yeah, that's exactly what I thought would happen. Let's go ahead and put these in above the basalt. Take this down so we can... Thank you. Like I said, my excuse is future-proofing. In case they add like a baby skeleton or something in the future that can spawn in a one-high space, we're going to go ahead and spawn-proof this area as well. Even though technically it probably doesn't need it. I mean, they are coming out with that, like, baby mob drop soon, so who knows what's going to be in that thing. I mean, what they've told us, obviously, but, like, what haven't they told us about, you know? That's the real question. Maybe nothing? Maybe something. But this way, we'll be ready. I think being able to see this basalt pillar running across is just going to help the interior look anyway. And it's just going to make this whole thing feel a bit more spacious and open, which is good. Okay, so that is done. Now we can continue on along here. We should have most, if not all, of the slabs that we need to finish this off. Might have to make a few more, maybe, just maybe. And if we do, that's okay. We are almost there. Ooh. Yep, that is a lot easier. Somehow, even after squaring off the portal, we still got messed up on the spacing. And have ended up against the wall for some of them and not for others. I don't have any more, right? Nope, no more slabs. Okay. So we'll have to make some more slabs. That's a-okay. I'm actually kind of glad we put that up there, because it makes this last visible row a lot easier to place. Gonna be pretty close. 25 extra. Not too shabby. Just to be extra fancy. Yeah, that's kind of cool. See if we can make it happen on both sides. Okay, so this would go like this. This would go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, looks like. And then like this, like this, like this, and like this. Do I like that? Is the question. Truthfully, I don't know. I'm gonna leave it for now and see if it grows on me. Right now, I kind of hate it. And I was trying to make it a little fancier, but it's just not working. Yeah, I kind of hate it. Like I said, we're gonna leave it for now. We're gonna leave it for now. So now I actually need to figure out how to make something I've never made before. Okay, and it's stripped logs across the top and bottom. Okay. So I think I actually need to place these and strip them. Which there's plenty of room, so... Right. I have to remove the shield. The reason I have birch only unlocked, because it's the only stripped log I've ever gotten. But this fixes that. So these are going to be a little bit expensive, which I did not realize. Thankfully, we don't have to make too many of them. Alright, so we're going to take half of this. The other half. Each of the... Okay, each one makes 6. That's good. So now we actually need to grab something else we already have made. And we're going to put this back. And now we're going to go out here and start doing the aesthetics. I must use stairs here instead of these. Okay, well that's something to look at. Obviously, these are being used just for aesthetic purposes. I don't intend to actually store anything in them. At least for right now. Okay, yeah, we're definitely gonna have to swap some of these for stairs. And that is my fault. Did not plan that correctly. Let's go get us some more logs here. I'll take half of them. Take our shield off. So yeah, this is another reason why manually harvesting trees makes a lot more sense than automatically harvesting them with like TNT duping or like a wither or something. Because if you want something like stripped logs, you kind of have to like, you can do that while you're harvesting. But with a TNT duper, not so much. Let's start there. We're here, I think. Yes, we were. Alright, exactly how many more of these do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 20, 21, 22, 24, 25, 26, 7, 28, 9, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37. Okay, so 37 times 2 is 74. So I need 74 more shelves. And I need 39 more trapdoors. So let's start with the trapdoors. Okay. New one. $27. I think we're gonna need 2 more. Because we need 39, right? Yeah. And then we said 74 of the other ones. I don't know if we're gonna have enough wood for this. We're gonna try. We're definitely gonna try. and not for a lack of harvesting, because we harvested a lot of this stuff. So it might be like an off-camera finish for this little part of it. But honestly, we've done very well today, getting most of this place put together. This is really just like an aesthetic touch. And I just didn't realize how expensive these shelves were. And we can still go through and fix the blackstone so that it's stairs where it needs to be. To kind of like make the whole thing look correct. And we still need to put up our lanterns. So we can make those and get them hung as well. That sounds really close. So I'm imagining as we take this down, the structure, like layer by layer, we're going to encounter open space. Which is kind of a good thing, because it'll be cool to be able to see the structure from a distance. But yeah, kind of might not be great either. Okay. Oh, I forgot these give you 6 each. We might be able to get 72. This is 60. Not quite, because I don't have the other two to turn into. And even if I did, it would be like 66. So we almost got there. We're going to need to get a little bit more of this material. But for the time being, we can go ahead and put up what we have. And it should be pretty cool. Like I said, this is the first time I've ever made shelves in a survival world, and I had no idea they were that expensive. But they look awesome. I don't regret the choice. I just didn't realize I needed quite that much material to make them all. And given the purpose of the structure, it makes sense to have it be a little bit more embellished than maybe some of the others will end up being. Like, this is the hub, you know? It should be fancy. Once the gold farm is done, and we've got the other, you know, strictly necessary things that we need set up, I'm thinking huge warped fungus is going to be one of the next things to set up farms for. That and birch, since we use both materials pretty heavily, just in different dimensions. Oh good, we'll have enough for the corner. It's actually the last corner. Okay, we actually needed 2 more. Not sure how my math got messed up on that. That should be enough to get the 2 trapdoors. So that part will be done anyway. There we go. So we didn't need quite all of those, and that probably would have given us enough materials to finish this out. Maybe, it's really hard to tell. Yeah, I hate those. We're going to take these down. Just isn't doing what I had hoped it would do. It's like, I'm not even certain what I hoped for from those, but... yeah, that's just greener. Okay, so now, the thing to do is go through with the black stone. And we might even need some more of the stairs here. Honestly, we'll just make a bunch. Okay, and we're going to need to... we'll start over here, same as we did with the warped bits. Take this out, replace it with this. See how much better that looks? Much better. So I think we'll just go around real quick and hit all of these. And then we'll go through super fast and put in the stairs in all of them. Which should finish us off. At least as far as we can accomplish in this stream. We might, and I say this like very carefully, might, just barely, have time to do a tree harvest in the overworld to get the last of the shelves that we need to kind of finish this level off. And if not, I think I will try to finish that off camera. Because in the next one, I'd really like us to start moving towards, like, working on the gold farm. Okay. And for the corners, this actually kind of works better because the blackstone stairs more accurately mirror the quartz stairs above them as far as positioning. Because they go and jut out just the same way that this does. But like, it just seems more consistent. Alright, how many more do we need? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Grab us some more blackstone. Literally just grab exactly what we need. And save the rest of that for later. The great thing is, stairs and slabs are all spawn-proof. So we don't need to worry about light levels in these areas, even though we are going to install lanterns, just, you know, for aesthetics. And that is our next order of business, so let's see what we have. 2, 3. So we need 6 per side, there's 4 sides, so 24 lanterns. I've definitely got some torches. Okay. That'll get us 7. I need a couple more than that, as it happens. Okay. Alright, 24 minus 7 is what, 17? Okay, so that is the exterior lanterns. We'll come back to doing the interiors in a minute. It's not even all the exterior lanterns, technically. Just these ones. The alcove ones. Thinking we might want to put them on the railings, too. Now that I'm kind of looking at it, though, seems like these give off plenty enough light. And like, this whole thing is spawn-proof anyway. So it doesn't really need to be lit up. So I think we might forego those ones. Alright, there we have it. Now, we want to do interior lanterns. 1, 2, 3. Now it's going to be 4, 8 per side. So we're going to want... Is that 8? 16, 32. Let's see if we have what we need to make enough torches for that. Looks like we do. Okay. We can put one there. Alright, let's make us a mess of iron nuggets. Alright, perfect. Now let's go ahead and hang these up. Unfortunately, you can't hang them on stairs, so we do have to put them like this. They're not technically in these alcoves, but they do provide enough light that we're not going to need those torches there. So we'll go through after the fact and grab those torches. Although, aesthetically speaking, it would be more consistent to replace these with actual blocks. We don't have the materials for that right now. But we may end up replacing these and putting... But then you can't really use the alcove for anything. Never mind. Never mind. We'll probably just leave it like this. Okay. That's good. Now we did refrain from putting lanterns here. That is intentional, because having two lanterns side by side just like looks kind of weird. But yeah, let's go ahead and grab all these torches. And we'll double check the light levels, but I think we're good. Yeah, block is 11. I think it just needs to be above 7 to prevent spawning of nether mobs. If that is incorrect, feel free to let me know in the comments. But even worst case scenario, I think it has to be 11 or higher, which it is going to be in each one of these. So it's still actually fine. Like, only just, but yeah. I could just get rid of this. That's an option. And kind of have the lantern there instead of the stair block. Okay. Let's do a tester, see how we feel about that. I hate to say it, but I kind of like that. That's got a cool feel to it, and this is still useful. Alright. That's the plan. Let's knock these out. And we'll go around and replace the lanterns in the alcoves. I don't know why I didn't see that when I was doing this in the testing room. But yeah, I think that is definitely the play. Oh no, I'll have to put that one back. I'll do it again. Alright, so there's definitely not going to be any warped huge fungus harvesting in this episode, because this slight modification is going to take up the rest of our time. Moving our chests such that they are not in the way of everything is going to be an off-camera thing. First thing is first, let's go replace this block that we broke and did not mean to. Then let's go break all the lanterns, but the one we already tested. Yeah, such that we can put them in place where they should go. And because we took the torches out already, we do need to do this like this, just so we don't get any unfortunate spawning while we work. This will heighten the light levels on that block, so it will definitely be spawn proof now. Definitely no risk as far as that's concerned. 2 minutes. Cutting it close tonight. But that's okay. We are going to go ahead and finish placing these, moving these down on camera, and then we'll call it a night. But yeah, we've done a lot. Besides the just not having quite enough of the warped stem to do what we wanted to do. And it was close. We got pretty much this whole first level of the structure done, which is really what we wanted to accomplish. There's more of the structure to be built, but it's going to be a later project, like after the gold farm is done, and we have, you know, time and materials for it, and, you know, are less desperately in need of the materials we're trying to farm. We make more permanent farms for all of the stuff that we've been using heavily, and then come down and finish this, and finish the overworld transportation hub as well. But yeah, aside from moving these chests and doing the warped wood, this level is done. Structure's done. So we can pull back, take a look back a little bit, and you can kind of see the vision. It looks good. It looks really good. So I'm proud of this. Hopefully you guys like it as well. It's nether without feeling like just netherrack everywhere. A lot of these materials are nether materials, which is very cool. The bone blocks especially are very Soul Sand Valley. And just a little bit of quartz, because that's why we're doing this, to get our hands on the non-block version that we can use in observers and comparators. So yeah, great night. Thank you all for hanging out and watching, and coming back in and watching later on YouTube. But the loop is stable, and so we're gonna let it run. I'll catch you guys in the next cycle.